Hello, everyone. This is Monsef Afker, and thank you so much for joining us in this new call of Your Divine Uniqueness. So, very happy to have you with us, whether on the live call or on replay. So, thank you for your presence, and also very, very excited and very happy that Jules Arnes is with us on the show for the first time, and really excited because she will be sharing with us her experience and also her creation in the bioquantum and DNA intelligence, and also her wisdom and guidance that I really find very, very inspiring. And because I learned about her bioquantum work, and also I've been listening to her videos on YouTube recently, and I really love the message that she brings, the energy that she embodies. It really inspired me because I was going through some doubts and also period of unknown, and the messages that she brought were very, very helpful and brought clarity in regard to my experience. So yeah, so very, very excited that she's here with us today. And for those of you who are new to her, she is the founder of Becoming Bioquantum, Activating DNA Intelligence, author, public speaker, and conscious advocate. And the subject today is aging is a state of consciousness. So yeah, she will be discussing the aging process and the truth of it, because also we have some limiting beliefs that we inherited, that also we may have in our DNA. And she will be talking about that, and also about the energy of the energies and also vitality and longevity that are encoded in our DNA, and that are there to be activated and embodied in our physical experience. So it will be very, very inspiring call, and also we'll have a Q&A later on the call. So as always, if you are on Zoom, you can raise your hand by pressing reactions, then raise hand. If you are on the phone, you can press *9, and also you can type your questions on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And yeah, so with that, Jules, welcome to the show. Very happy to have you with us.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here as well.
Wonderful. So yeah, I would love in the beginning if you can tell us about yourself and also the work you are doing.
Yeah, thanks. So, I was born awake. I was actually just reflecting on just my life. I've been in a big transition in this last year, and I was like, it's like I always knew what I was here for. When somebody asked that question of why we were here, I thought it was an actual question that everybody could answer. And it wasn't until I was around sixth grade that I recognized that that wasn't actually true for most people. And so I've been on this path for a really long time. I started studying how to trace and read frequency when I was 16. I had my Reiki master by the time I was 18. I apprenticed with a Lakota medicine woman for about 6 years, and she taught me how to hold consciousness in the frequency of what most people would know as DMT or a psychedelic state without actually doing psychedelics. She was very against doing psychedelics. So I learned it all very naturally. And because of all that training at such a young age, I just learned to follow the breadcrumbs, if you will, just getting the messages and following them and doing. I have a cat in my lap that's very much enjoying the energy that's coming in for us. And yeah, so I have always been a healer. I used to work on reprogramming the mind, and people would come in and lay on my table, and I would go in and reprogram synapse responses using frequency. And I had a spine injury in 2013, which led me to start to reprogram on a cellular level. And so that opened up a lot for me. And then a year later, one of my best friends passed away. And when he died, I followed him. So when he first died, I was driving back to his house and he said, "Don't be sad or you won't be able to hear me." And so I attuned to the frequency of his voice and started to follow him to what I called the Council of Light. And the Council of Light downloaded what I now call my foundations course. And they gave me very specific steps of how to hold consciousness in the frequency of source, and that these frequencies were stored in our DNA. And we could go on, but I feel like that's a good place that kind of has led me to where I am now. There's a whole story behind the skincare line as well, but I feel like I've talked long enough. I can put it over to you.
Thank you very much for sharing about that. And so yeah, you just mentioned the source code in our DNA, and so I would love if maybe if you can talk a little bit deeper about that and how it affects us as humans, and also our connection to our maybe to our expression of the divine of source that we are expressing here on earth.
Yes, I would love to. This is definitely my passion. Uh, so when in 2016, I received the alchemy for a multidimensional element called Ormus. And Ormus stands for orbited rearranged monoatomic element. And when I started ingesting it, I started to recognize that our body holds a very specific frequency, and that frequency can be held consciously. And when we do that, we are bypassing time. And I wouldn't even say we're bypassing it, we're just beyond space and time. So I knew without a doubt that this element had the ability to teach us how to not only activate the DNA, but to use it to break the timeline of aging. And it'll be 3 years ago, another friend of mine died. I get all my information. I wish they didn't have to die to get all this information, right? But Vale died. He was a 22-year-old friend of our family. And he came to me after he died and he had me sit down. And for 1 hour, I wrote out an equation that he was giving me. And his message was that we are not supposed to die. And he showed me the equation of how our cells are looping because we are only experiencing 2 of 12 strands of DNA. And that these other 10 strands, when they're activated and all 12 strands are working together, that it creates a technology. And this technology is the intelligence of source. And when we're born, the frequency of DMT is released, and that frequency is transcribed in our DNA. And then when we die, the same frequency is released, and that frequency leaves the DNA and moves into our consciousness, or our consciousness moves it into it. And what Vale was showing me is that we can actually release this frequency of our DNA while we are living, and move our consciousness into this frequency and actually become the intelligence of source. And so, with all of my work, this is what I teach. And this year will actually be the first year that I teach the full cell ascension journey with my DMT. So I'm really excited to teach that and start experiencing that. And it's all a technology that we can learn to use. And once we know how to use it and we know how to hold consciousness in it, we become unstoppable. And I know now more than ever that this is possible. And not only is it possible, but it's probable. This is where we're going as human evolution.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And when we have that awareness and we have that ability, I believe like the way we live our life, it changes because also because of the program we have about aging. we expect like from early age that when we will reach a certain age, then we will have less energy, and then we can't create the way our life the way we want, we want it, and so so my question is, so if we change the programming, how does this affect the way we live our life, and can we feel the change physically as well?
Absolutely. Yes. So when we start to recognize, right? So everything is a reflection, and our consciousness is the ability to become aware of what that reflection is showing us. And so when we choose to become aware, we're shown what is in the way. And depending on what the question is, the answer is going to be something different. So if the question is, what are we if we don't age? Or what programs am I holding that are keeping me stuck in the loop of aging, which is a loop, and it's a loop that is ready to be broken. Um, then we're shown what belief systems we have. And some of them wouldn't even think twice about it, right? Like even the belief system of that we need so much sleep, or that our body won't be able to handle it. Or things like, oh, I need to take all these vitamins, or my body won't have what it needs. We have all of these belief systems and we don't even think about it. And so when we start to ask the questions, we're not looking for the answers outside of ourselves. We're waiting for our DNA to give us the answers. And I think that's one of my passions, is to teach how to know when you're receiving the most pure answer there is, because otherwise it can be very confusing. I mean, how many times have we ask questions and then we have like 20 answers, or I don't know what the answer is. I keep getting all these things, but I still don't know what the answer is. And there's a reason for that, because we are holding consciousness a little bit further out from where the intelligence of the answer is. And so when we learn to put our consciousness close to the intelligence or the frequency of the intelligence, we know what the answer feels like because of what our body feels like. Because we learned what it feels like to hold our consciousness in the 12-strand DNA body, or the intelligence, the technology, if you will, and what it feels like to hold it in a program. And once we recognize the difference, we can ask the questions of, what is keeping me from whatever that is. So in this case, it could be aging, or what state of consciousness am I holding that is creating disease? What state of consciousness am I holding that's making me feel tired? Right? We have all these different things, and they're all signals that have an answer. It's just how pure we can receive the answer.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I love that. So this is more like an invitation to, it's like to upgrade the way we connect to our body or communicate. Because also like I feel that many of us in the spiritual community, we maybe you mentioned that like we feel limited by the physical body and also the challenges of the 3D world, and we try to maybe run away from it on, or it becomes maybe difficult to stay grounded. But when we learn that, like you mentioned, we are able to recognize the message where it comes from.
I think it's funny. This came up in an interview that I had. I don't know. I think it was with Leak Story. I think it was like two years ago, and we were reflecting on how a lot of spiritual practices have you leave the body behind, and almost seeing the body as a burden. And that is a huge reason why we're experiencing our body as a burden. But when we start to see the body as a vessel, and when we really start to open up to what our body actually is, and it is a divine technology, and it's running and it's there waiting for us to hit it consciously. Because the truth is, all 12 strands of DNA are already activated. our body is already multidimensional. We're just not having that experience because our consciousness isn't in that state. But when we start to ask for that experience, we're start to be shown what is possible. And that to me is exciting. That's when we start to open up to the possibilities. And then we start to recognize things like instant healing is what we all should be experiencing. Not aging is a probability. I think like I think the message here is that we have no idea how powerful we really are. And when we even stretch our imagination as far as it can go, that's still not it. Like, I mean, just imagine that. It's hard to imagine because we are so locked in to the limitations of what we think we are. And that's what I've been really playing with in these last, I don't know, like 6 weeks. I just keep breaking myself down of like, okay, it's not that, it's not that, I'm not that, I'm not that. And I would say this morning it was pretty powerful just waking up this morning and just recognizing that I actually enjoy not knowing who I am and what I'm doing. There's something very peaceful in that because I can fill that space. The less identity I have, the more the frequency of my DNA can turn on and starts to fill the space of what I identify in. And if we can do that even with our skin or in our body and what we experience when we walk up the stairs or go make a cup of coffee, and we're doing it all through this state, everything changes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And especially with the body, because it's the relationship, maybe it's different. And when we feel some kind of change or an ease, the reaction can be stronger compared to our relationship to other parts of the human experience. And it can create lots of fear. Um, and then also maybe it becomes more challenging to believe that we have the ability to self-heal and our true power. So maybe what is your advice how to approach those situations when there is like this sense of fear and urgency in relation to the body?
Yeah, fear is a big one. So I always say don't do anything when you're in the state of fear. When you're in the state of fear is when we use the tools to get back to a place of calmness. And so one tool could just simply be going for a walk or take a shower, calm down the nervous system. And then we can move into the conscious part of our brain because otherwise we're fighting and we're trying. I have a whole thing around recognizing what state of consciousness you're in. And we want to get to the state of consciousness where we can open ourselves up to listening to God, the divine, a frequency outside of our programming. And if we're not there, then that should be our focus until we are, because otherwise we're looping in that state. And that's why I'm so passionate about teaching my foundations courses, because that's one of the hardest things to do, because we are so programmed to identify in what our experience is, identify in what I'm feeling on a chemical level in my body, or identify on what's going on in the world, or identify in what a doctor just told me. And there's so much more than that. That's what we're identifying in is form, is matter. It's a program, illusion. So to shift and to be able to heal, sometimes instantly, I've had that experience many times. We can't do it from that state of consciousness, right? And so it's not actually hard. And this is the thing that I feel like everybody needs to know, is that once you have the tools Everybody can do this. We're just not taught the tools of how to. And one of the biggest tools of holding consciousness in abstract frequency or holding it in that frequency that's stored in our DNA is that we're holding consciousness outside of time and space, but we're also holding consciousness in the purest frequency that there is. And if we can hold our consciousness in that frequency and we can ask from a place of purity to have an experience and then continue to hold our consciousness in that intelligence, we can do anything. And I mean anything, because if you think about the frequency of source, it is all that is.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then like the quality of our human experience and the human life really changes. Instead of running away or staying in constant state of fear, it's more how to say, there is more excitement. Also, we feel more energy, more vitality in our body, and that help in what we are creating. So yeah, thank you very much. And would you like to share more about the subject, or do you feel it's the right time for a group process?
Yeah, we could do a group process.
Okay, thank you.
So I think I'm gonna pull some codes and I'll read the codes and then we'll activate the DNA. And just while I'm picking these codes, if everybody wants to think about something that they would like to evolve, if it's something that you're wanting to evolve in relation to aging, and I will kind of make that the intention is to hold the body in no time, no space. But if there's something that you're wanting to heal, maybe it could be simply a wrinkle that you're wanting to diminish. Bring in your own personal experience in this because then you'll have something to focus on afterwards. I'm just going to pull 3 codes. Okay, I'll show them to you in just a minute. So we got the 9, the 22, and the 1. And then I'm going to take out these. So what I'm using is the technology. So the technology we'll be using, we're going to do the 3 symbols of the LuSCA 33, and then I have 3 of the DMT codes, which are each code is connected to a strand of DNA. So the 9 is the ability to break the illusion. It's mastering the matrix. So it's a state of consciousness to where you can experience maybe pain in the body and know that that's only a small part of what's actually happening, and that we can step back and open up and see that everything is divine. We're also in a 9 year, so that's kind of interesting. So this is the 9. And then we have the 22. The 22 is master creator. It's the ability to create and as the frequency of source. So whatever it is that is in creation is holding the frequency of source. And then the last code is the 1, which is a new beginning. It's also new thought. An inventor can see it something for the first time. All right, so those are the codes, and I'll hold them up as we activate them. So I'm just going to invite everybody to kind of go into their heart space, and you can shut your eyes for just a moment, and we'll begin just by breathing in. If you'd like to picture white blue light, just breathing it in through your nose, allowing it to trace along the brain, and moving down through the spine, and then out through the mouth. Just letting that light attune your spinal fluid. Feeling your spinal fluid as it begins to hold the frequency of source. And feeling it as it activates your mind as your brain is floating in this fluid. And just allowing the light to move into your heart space, into your bloodstream. And then we're going to start by bringing the first symbol into your pineal gland, which is in the center of your physical brain. And just allowing this first symbol to bring the body into 0 point or neutrality. And if there's a belief system that you'd like to clear, I invite you to just state it in your mind. And then on a collective level, we're going to allow the symbol to dissolve and ascend. That aging is inevitable, that my body will deteriorate, that I will die. We're going to clear the fear of death, the fear of illness, the fear of not being enough. And just feeling as your body allows all of these programs that are looping and that distortion, that 2 DNA distortion, the distortion of the operating system, just feeling it all as it moves into that neutral space or 0 point. Just feeling what that feels like in your body. And then we'll activate the second symbol, allowing the body to hold consciousness in 0 point, that your body is a conscious living thing. It is holding this tool of consciousness as a vehicle to ascend the body, to experience the body multidimensionally. And the symbol allows that consciousness be held in that abstract space, in the frequency of source, without identifying as matter or programs. Just feeling the purity of consciousness. Feeling your cells as they activate. And then we'll activate the third symbol of the 33, turning on that frequency of source, 963. And as this frequency is released, we ask to experience the 12-strand DNA system. We ask to experience what it is to hold consciousness outside of timelines and to experience our body as a divine vehicle beyond space and time, to feel its power, to experience it as the intelligence of source. And then we'll activate DMT code number 9, allowing our body to be experienced in a space of mastery. We'll activate DMT code number 22 as we hold the consciousness of a master creator, that we have the ability to create as the frequency of source. And then we'll activate the 1, allowing the body to be experienced for the first time in this mastery. Feeling your body as it moves into this higher spin state, as all 12 strands align and activate, releasing the intelligence of source, activating the most advanced technology there is. And this technology is infinite in all that is. And then if there's something that you would like to ascend in this moment, just gently asking and releasing and letting the technology take it over. The technology will do it for you. Your DNA knows exactly what to do. And just taking a moment to have the experience. And just before you open your eyes, just allow yourself to let go of what you were before this activation and to stay open and curious into who you are becoming, allowing yourself to experience yourself for the first time in this new frequency. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. I just want to show one fun thing now that you have these activations for you ladies that want to erase the wrinkles. You can rub your fingertips together like this and get them charged. There's little charging things in your fingers, and feel the activation of your DNA. So you can just say, activate my 12 strand DNA and put that frequency in my fingertips. And then just ask for exactly what you want to have happen. Erase. You can go and just give yourself a little facelift, and it's a lot of fun. So you can do things like moving your fingers up like this, and then you can hold where you want it to be and ask that the frequency will hold your skin in whatever place you in. And I swear, if you do this every day for 21 days, you're gonna be shocked at what you're capable of doing just by talking to your cells and activating the DNA. So have fun with that.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. And yeah, everyone, we would love to hear your feedback. You can type it on the chat boxes. And yeah, for me, I love the process and the code's activations. For me, the intention was to have more vitality in my body, and at some point, I felt more present in my body, more grounded, and started feeling the energy um, getting more expanded. And so yeah, that was a beautiful experience. So thank you very much. And yeah, so also we'll start taking questions from the audience in a few minutes. So a reminder, if you are on YouTube, you can type your question on the chat box. If you are on Zoom, you can raise your hand by pressing reactions, then raise hand. Also, you can press *9 if you are on the phone. And you can also type your question on the chat box on Zoom. And before that, Jules, I would love if you can take some time to talk about the program you are offering. We have the Step Beyond the Aging Timeline program. And also another one, package B, is Mastering Consciousness. It's an 8-week live online series that will start on March 19th. And I invite everyone to visit the link, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Jules, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Jules, JEWELS. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and the chat boxes. I will put it on the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. So yeah, Jules, I would love if you can tell us about these two programs.
Yeah, of course. So the first program is have two of my new Ormus skincare lines. So there's actually the element of Ormus in the skincare. And one of them is the Genome NAD serum, which is also has NAD in it, which is working with the cells, boosting mitochondria, all those wonderful things, vitality. And so the two products can be used with the facelift. So you get 4 weeks of a scalar transmission that is holding the technology of allowing the cells to start to identify in the frequency of source over programming. So that is a scalar transmission that you'll get that's targeting the cells of the body. And then you also get there's a facelift that you can learn to do and activate with the product and do that. So, and then the other product that is with it is the gemstone facial oil. And I feel like I just need one more shout out to Ormus because I feel like you can't appreciate how amazing this product is if you don't know what Ormus is. So when Ormus is put in the skincare, it will take on the multidimensional consciousness of each ingredient that's in there. So, example, if it's a peptide, it will connect to the frequency of the peptide and bring it into a high spin state so that when your body is receiving the ingredients, it's receiving it as something that is alive and active and conscious. And so I call it conscious living skincare for a reason because it's not just applying a product. You're applying a living, breathing thing. And the more that you talk to it and the more you say what you want it to do and the more you work with the frequencies, the more you will redesign your skin. It's a lot of fun to play with. So that is package A. And then package B is the 8-week course. And this course is, I've been kind of hinting about it here and there, but it is truly one of my biggest passions. It is learning to hold consciousness in frequency is one of the most amazing, if not the most amazing thing that we can learn to do for ourselves. Because once we learn to hold our consciousness in frequency and can read frequency, read what the intelligence of our DNA is saying, there's nothing else to know. Everything that you need to know is inside of you. There's no more searching. There's no more wondering. There's no more what I can't do. You have everything you need. And what more empowering is there? And this foundational course is, I used to teach it, and I think I said this, I used to teach it as this will be the last course you ever have to take. If you learn and practice these tools, it truly is the last course that you'll need to take because you will learn to read the intelligence of your own DNA.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Jules. And yeah, I agree like with you when you talk about when we know how we can connect to the frequency, our own frequency, and find the truth within. It really can change the way we live our life, and also like in these times, I feel we are more called to embody more of our sovereignty because in the past we were used to find the answers outside and we didn't believe in our true power. And yeah, also for me personally, many times like experiences happens to me that's it's like asking me to find the truth within instead of waiting for the answer from outside. And I feel this is something we are experiencing as a collective, and I love that's you are helping our audience through that during the 8-week class or course. So very grateful to you, and also thank you very much for the first package as well. So yeah, and sharing both the guidance you're teaching and also the bioquantum products and a creation that you are offering to the world. So very grateful to you. Thank you. And everyone. So yeah, I really recommend that you sign up for these packages. And again, the link is yourdivineuniqueness.com/Jules. yourdivineuniqueness.com/Jules. JEWELS. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live event page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. And just there is a note on the page is about if you are located outside the US, because for package A the shipping price is free, but outside it can be different from one country to the other. And if you want to know how much it will cost, just contact support@yourdivineuniqueness.com, and you will get the cost within 24 hours. And yeah, so let's see. We have a feedback from Kathy. Loved feeling the electricity in my fingertips. Thank you. And Tina, thank you, Jules. Beautiful process. My body is thanking you for helping us to connect and become the master creator we are. Love what you are bringing for us all. Thank you, Tina. And also thank you, Kathy. And a question from our caller on our iPhone. We don't have the name. So the question is how to activate or release DMT.
Yeah, great question. So that's what these codes are doing, that they're connected to a frequency. Everything that we use is connected to a quantum scalar device, but you don't need to have that to be able to do that. So the first thing that we could just do, just shutting your eyes for just a moment and bring your awareness into your pineal gland, which is just in the center of your physical brain. So just with your intention, bring all of your thoughts. And then just ask, release the frequency of DMT. And then what I want you to do is get all of your thoughts, and I want you to see a little tiny white blue light in the center of your pineal gland. And with your thoughts, push that light out and see if you can have the light fill your entire mind. And this light is holding that frequency of DMT. And then just see how long you can hold the light there before thoughts come in. So you just did, you just released it. So that's, of course, the frequency of DMT, but there is especially when you start working with the codes a lot, you do start to, and Ormus is an awesome way to start to release DMT naturally. It's a frequency. DMT is a frequency. And what's ironic is that DMT is the exact same frequency as source. They both measure at 963 hertz. You can actually look that up.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jules. And yeah, so thank you for our iPhone caller. And yeah, so I think our audience is quite today. So they loved listening to your wisdom today. And maybe I have a question from you regarding connecting to our true power and believing in that, because you talked about imagination, and also we hear a lot about the power of imagination in creating our desires, but also you mentioned there is a limit to that because we don't know our true power. And so how can we bring that experience or that feeling that we get closer and closer to our true self, and we start feeling that and embodying it in our daily life?
Yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. So imagination is, well, what do you want to do the exercise? I usually do this
Yes.
exercise so we can see the difference. Okay, I love this exercise. This is my favorite. Okay, so everybody shut their eyes again. And imagine a sunflower. So just Imagine a sunflower. You can even imagine what it would smell like. You can see it either in a field or maybe in a vase, or maybe just see the sunflower. And notice what your body feels like when you're imagining the sunflower. Okay, now open your eyes. Just shake it out for a second. And now shut your eyes again. And this time we're going to ask that the frequency of source that is stored in your DNA release the frequency of a sunflower. So you're allowing the sunflower to come to you through the experience of the frequency of your DNA. And just notice how your body feels different. Experience the sunflower through the frequency of source. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So that was the difference between imagination and attuning consciousness, or allowing consciousness to hit a frequency that is being given to you. And living life between those two, knowing the difference is everything, because where we want to be is in the second experience. We want to allow the frequency of source to hit our consciousness and for us to have the experience of life from that space. So you can even bring this into your morning routine when you apply your skincare. Don't just put your skincare on. Don't put it on and say, oh, I have this wrinkle and I have this wrinkle. Your cells are listening. And if your consciousness is saying that you're aging, guess what's happening? You are. So instead, ask, what is it to have the experience of my body, of my skin, through the frequency of source? And then allow the frequency to show you what you really are, because you're not what you see in the mirror. That's only 2 of 12. And when we ask that question and we stay open to receiving, everything changes.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jules. And I really love the exercise because it really shows that imagination can help, but there is limitation in using the image to feel that experience but instead, when we focus more on the frequency, it becomes much more easier to feel that and embodying it. And yeah, it really shows, because you talked before about the importance of knowing the frequency, because this can help us in every area and in our life. So thank you for the exercise. And Tina, she wrote, I have teeth issues and I have this belief system that I can repair them. Then I allow others saying it's impossible. Any advice would be appreciated. I realize teeth are connected to many things, thoughts, feeling, emotions, and toxins, etc. I don't want false teeth.
So the same thing I did with the pineal gland, just, yeah, I would run it through your teeth. So, and doing it from the same exercise that we just did. So instead of imagining the teeth healing, or even just believing the teeth healing, because we want to go from having faith to believing to embodying. And embodying is where the magic happens, is when we've embodied what we believe. And so when you're running that frequency, so just ask that the frequency of your DNA and your cells of your teeth and your gums to release the frequency of source and to bring the experience of your teeth into the highest vitality. And then allow that frequency to release and have the experience of it. And when you go, what's going to happen is you're going to go want to go look and see if it worked, right? Like that we do it every time and we ruin it. We ruin it because we're going in, we're looking through our programming, and then we're bringing this beautiful frequency that just got released and we're bringing it back down into a program. But if we just allow ourselves to just continue to say, okay, I recognize that my consciousness hasn't hit the frequency of what's released yet, but I'm going to continue to hold my consciousness there. And when we have that experience, just like what we did with the sunflower, there's a frequency to it, right? We feel something happening. That frequency has an intelligence, and that intelligence we can attune our consciousness to. And when we do it for a long enough period of time, that becomes our reality. Quantum physics has already proven that this is true. So the tool isn't just to ask for it, but is to learn to hold consciousness in the frequency of what you asked for. And then the magic starts to happen. I've actually healed a tooth before. And it was supposed to get a root canal and did not have to. It was totally healed.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much, Jules. And thank you, Tina, for your question. And a question from Britt. Thank you very much for this beautiful information. Will the special offer classes be recorded? In the event we can't make the scheduled time.
Yes, they are recorded, and there's also a forum. So if you have questions that you have come up as you're watching the recordings, we go in and answer those questions. And it's a very community based, and you can connect with other people in the course all through the platform, which is, I'm really, really excited. It's a brand new platform, and I'm excited to see what we can do with it.
Yeah, beautiful. And yeah, thank you, Brett, and feedback from Tina. Thank you, Jules, for I got full body chills while you are sharing this. Funny how you shared about sunflower, my beloved. That's crossed over. He loved sunflowers. Think he guided me here today.
Oh, that gave me chills.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tina. And yeah, so Jules, thank you very much for everything you shared with us today. And would you like maybe to share a message before we complete the call today?
Okay, so what's the message? So this what I'm hearing is take it further. So every time that we ask a question and we receive an answer, know that that's only a small part of the whole. And that if we continue to explore the answer, we get deeper levels of the answer. And we can go deeper and deeper and deeper. And that is a huge part of embodiment, because the more that we sit and receive the answer, we allow the answer to continue to come. It's not when we get one little piece and we're like, oh, yeah, that's it. It's like, no, keep going, because there's so much more. And the more you're willing to sit and allow, the more you're going to be given. So just like the sunflowers, like you had this little 30-second experience of what the sunflower is through source. Spend 5 minutes and see how much farther you can go with it. And then you can learn to do that with everything in your life. It gets a lot purer. The longer we hold consciousness in the allowing, the more pure the information is, and the faster we get to where we want to be.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jules, for the message and again for everything you shared with us today. I really loved the call. It was very inspiring, powerful messages, and also the activations that you did for us. So so grateful to you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for being with us today, for sharing with us your beautiful energies and your time and the space as well. Thank you for the feedback, the questions. Nina, thank you all. Cheryl, thank you so much. Jules and myself, this was beautiful. And yeah, so again, you can find the programs that Jules is offering to us on the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Jules, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Jules, JEWELS. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. Fleur wrote, thank you, Jules and myself. Pipa, thank you. Much love. And yeah, so also a Grace Remarkable call on YouTube. Tina, thank you, myself and Jules. Can always feel your love. Thank you everybody for the feedback, and I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you on the next call. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.